All right, we're back at the go-kart again. What we got is our scale table set up. We got scales in it. We got to turn on the scales, get them all adjusted. Got to set the cart on it, get the pads right before we start doing all of our major scaling. And then what I like to do is I had this weight. I took it to a calibration facility and they calibrated it for me. So right there is 104.2 pounds. And what I'll do, I'll take that and set it on each pad and make sure my scales are reading 104.2. I think it reads out 0.2. But that way if it doesn't, I can pull my scale apart. They sent me the details on how to calibrate my scales. So if I got one pad that's off, and I'll recalibrate the pads. But these pads have been cleaned and calibrated and sent back to me. I have yet to have to fix a pad since I've gotten back and calibrated them. But that's what we do before we go through a major rebuild like this. This cart's been completely tore down and came back up, new body, new seat. The lead weight, we're actually melting lead weight. So we're gonna redo our weight tonight too. And so we're gonna make sure the whole thing is good. And then when it's good, we'll write down the numbers of how this cart sits on there empty with just the cart and the motor, you know, race ready without a driver. We'll write that down. And that way it kind of tells you when you drop your cart back on there the next time if your scales are still reading right. So you don't have to go through and go through this whole process of making sure the scale's right, because you have a reference after you set up the go-kart. That's what we're going to do. We'll get back out here in just a second. We'll turn you off, get the scales on, and bring you back when we got the weights on. All right, we're going to drop in on our first set of weights on here, and Kyle, we're going to read me what the numbers say. And why 104? Well, the scale company told me that if you're going to calibrate, it has to be over 100 pounds, 100 pounds or more. So I could probably do it off the 50 pounds, but I didn't have each weight calibrated on what they were, and I didn't write it on there. So I know this is 104.2. So that one says 106. Looks like I'm gonna have to go through and calibrate my scales again. So we got 102, 102, left side is 102, 104, and 106. So I'm gonna have to go through and bust open the scales and calibrate them again so we can get them back into specs, which the numbers that it read out, it might be fine. I don't know, but we'll bust out of here and break open the scales. All right, well here we go, here's the start. It took us longer to calibrate the scales this time. I kind of forgot how to do it. I had to pull up the directions and read through them again to figure it out. Might make a video on how we do our scales. If that's setting those scales up will help you do your scales. But we got them all within, I think there was 104, 104.1, 104, and 103.9. Somewhere right in there. So we're pretty darn close within tolerance. So we got Luca in the seat. We got our open animal on here. What we're trying to do is get him weighed out for Run What You Brung. Basically, we're trying to get as little weight as possible on here to get the numbers to work. What we're learning with him in here right now is that we're going to have to slide the seat over. We've put almost 15, 16 or 15, 20, almost 40 pounds worth of weight, and we can't get enough left on it. So we're going to slide his seat over a little bit to get him, to get the left side to come out. Come around here, Kyle. Other key places and things that you need to know about in the way we scale is like, once we go to chase the final setup numbers, he will be in full race gear, the go-kart will be in full gear, you know, tires will be set up, motor will be positioned, and everything. This is trying to get to the numbers with the weight we have And then once we get to the point to where we're close enough to where we need to be race ready, we'll pull the tires off. These ain't even race tires. These are just tires we use around the shop to keep the car on. He'll be in helmet, jacket, pants, fuel, tack, everything. Will be like he's ready to hit the track. So what we got right now is we're gonna get him out, slide the seat over, and then we'll be right back and see how that works for getting a little bit more left weight on there. All right, so glad y'all can't see this really behind the scenes camera, because we were off the camera. We had to slide the seat over, back and forth, and slide it back just a little bit to get Luca to set in the go-kart comfortably and to get the numbers that we wanted. We had it slid over too far that way, and every bit of the weight that it takes to make him get 375 was literally trying to get hung off this side of the seat to make it work. So we're an inch to the left off a recommendation, what Wesley recommends on this post, to get more left over here without so much weight. Is it going to work for us? Hopefully. But it was a lot of tedious back and forth. So what we're going to be doing right now, I got the body so I can get in here and drill lead holes and start mounting the lead. But while we were doing it, and I'll explain it to you now, but we'll show it to you later, he is getting into the classes to where, you know, the big motor, run what you brung, so there's no weight limit on that. So we are setting this cart up right now with our open animal so we can run what you brung. And to get the numbers shifted and around on the cart, he would come in at 350. So he'll be able to run stock light and stock medium if we put in a stock motor on it. But we went as far as taking all the other weight and moving it around on that side to bring him up to 375. So we'll be able to remove all that weight off of that side when we want to run what you brung, or light, or medium, or if he wants to run heavy, we can still just leave the weight on there. To get our cross back into play, we have to bring a washer. We have to move a washer, because when we add all that weight, it takes our cross down into, like, I think 66. The cart is recommended at 67 through 69, I think. I'll have to look at my sheet. But that's the only thing that's going to hinder us from being able to race everything just by taking the weight off, is moving a washer to get our cross back the way it is. We went ahead and got a set of race tires, got them ready. They're an inch stagger in the rear, the inch and a half up the front, I think is what it is. I can't remember. It's the 32 and a half and 34. It is race ready. Tire pressure, everything. We put the tack on. The only thing it's lacking is a full tank of fuel. It's got a half a tank in it. But we kind of do our cart at a half a tank when we're scaling, so that way we know when we hit the track, or if we go out and race, especially methanol, because if we got a big race or a lot of laps, the engine we run, our stock up here, and it loves the fuel, so it'll suck that fuel down. So we want to make sure when we come across the scales at the end of the race that we weigh what we weigh. A lot of people will fill this up. It's not much difference, but they'll fill it up. It does throw a little bit of nose weight in there, so you'll have to go through after you fill it up and see if it messes with your nose weight too much. You might have to slide a weight forward or back with a full tank compared to an empty tank, you know, to figure out which one you like the best when you're racing. And that's something you figure out when you're at the track after. All right, I raced one time with a full tank with the weight here. It pushed a little bit, or it didn't push, or it's too tight going in. All right, and so it's something you have to figure out. We figured out that scaling it out at half tank or below, and with the proper nose weight, we deal with it when it's a full tank, and the weight doesn't transfer that much forward. It's not even, I don't even think it's a percentage, so it's not really that big of a difference. Maybe that's what screws us up, I don't know. But as you can see, we got the seat back in solid. We're going to start hanging this weight here. Is his 350 weight. It's all going to be on this side. And that puts us spot on the numbers with this right here, what Wesley recommends. Like I said, the only thing different from Wesley than what we're doing is the seat is 5 1/4 off the rail, and he told me 4 1/4. So it is over a little bit off of his recommendations. But I just couldn't see us racing with all of that weight. That was our 15-pound weight, and it was almost 8 5-pounders hung off of this one side. It was getting ridiculous. So we're going to get in here and drill this stuff out, put him back in the seat. We got to adjust his steering wheel back since we took it off and powder coated it. Get him in there and see where he wants it, left or right, just to help him out. So without further ado, Kyle, come over here. Need you to hold that up there. All right, well, here we go. We drilled the holes, put the weight on. This setup right here is our stock light, stock medium, and runway rung setup. The numbers for this right now are perfect. Like what they recommend, it is perfect. So tomorrow we're going to come back out here, finish this up tomorrow. We're going to put the weight on the other side and where it needs to be to get us up to 375. So when we want to run heavy or we want to run the stock appearing class. If Tim gets our other motor done, we'll have 2 carts in stock appearing. It's going to be Luca and Daniel running for those points. So that's going to be it for tonight. We'll come back and see you tomorrow.